stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If one, I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pace up, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
Welcome everyone back to the show. This is a back-to-back show, folks. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I want to thank everybody that tuned in and show my man Vin some love. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are great. This is the show where you find new faces, new talent, and upcoming stars here all the time here on the Don Big Show Live. And I want to thank everybody again for tuning in and showing me some love. Today we got another great guest here on the show. Was on the show previous probably like 2 weeks ago with my brother Alonzo, Johnny Alonzo, Tirrel Veron Coleman. He is a director, writer, actor. This guy does it all. He was on there briefly, but today we have him here on the show. We're going to talk to him and find out exactly what drove him to become a director and getting into the film industry. So, guys, I have him here on the panel. So please welcome my man Tirrel to the show, folks. T, what's up?
Yo, what's going on, bro? How's everything?
Everything is everything, man. Thank you for logging in. You know, it was a tight schedule here, boy.
Yeah, it was.
yeah. You know, it be like that sometimes, but you know, we make it happen.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I know that's right, man. Like, you know, so like, I know that today is Mother's Day as well. Like,
yeah. So
didn't do a little bit of celebration yet, but like, I'm gonna do that afterwards or whatnot. You know, it's only right.
Yeah, that's right. Big shout out to all, you know, to all the moms out there. You know, happy Mother's Day to all you ladies out there. Appreciate everything you women do. So, Tirrel,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
you was on the show previous to this with Johnny Alonzo, great friend of both of us.
Mm-hmm, absolutely right.
Great actor, great friend.
Phenomenal.
And he is also, you want to talk about that film?
Yeah, like we can go into a little details of the film. So,
okay,
like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Split 2 Family Jewels is basically a continuation from the first short film that I did back in 2016. We won several awards for that film, and I thought to myself, well, like as I stated last week, you know, originally I just wanted to go ahead and make a you know, just a solo film,
Right.
But of course, like you know, the actors previously from that particular film, they wanted to go ahead and spawn a sequel. And at first, you know, I was like telling them, like, well, you know, we don't necessarily need a sequel, but they kept on begging me. And I was like, all right, okay, like let's see if we can go on to make a sequel. But if we do, I'm definitely going to make it darker. And like, you know, we're just going to have more plot devices, and, you know, we're going to have like a better story, you know, everything, you know, you got to up the ante for things like this, you know, like that's very, for like, you know, films generally, as well, especially for sequels, you know, so it's only necessary. However, like, you know, like back in 2017, like we conducted a first draft, and then like in 2018, we actually did more drafts after that. So like, you know, we had one actor that was in and locked in or whatever, but then unfortunately he got in trouble. So like, wanting the film or anything like that, and that was understandable. So it's like, you know, I was searching for another actor, but eventually actually became an actress. So originally for this particular film, it was supposed to be the same actors, and I do still have the same actors that actually make appearances from the first film, like and the sequel, of course. But I want to kind of like diversify a little bit of things as far as like introducing a female character, because originally one of the main leads was supposed to be a family member, a cousin, if you will. But eventually I said to myself, you know what, let's see if I can go ahead and make it a little bit more interesting and be like a little brother and sister bond or whatnot, right?
Right,
And
right.
I think it worked perfectly, so like we did a little bit of filming back in 2020, and like these are just like the first phases of filming, and this particular scene, like both of these scenes are actually like pretty interesting. Like we actually decided to go ahead and film a nightmare sequence. So I think I might have actually let you on a little bit of details as far as like jump scares that's supposed to be inside this film and such, and we definitely have some jump scares, that's for sure.
Really? That's awesome.
Like like I told these kids, like like we're gonna up the ante. Like this is gonna be a bit darker. Like it's kind of a little bit somewhat like Goonies, Stand by Me. Like for a little bit of like what's that author's name? Stephen King, basically. So
Stephen King.
Yeah, and then of course Stephen King. He's also a filmmaker. He's a director too.
Yes,
so,
yes, he is.
Like, he's amazing. He's an amazing writer as well as a director, a filmmaker.
Yes,
overall.
yes.
Yeah.
Stephen, he has a lot of great horror films too.
Yes, absolutely. Like I think if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Did he remake The Shining? Like I know that there was the original that had Jack Nicholson in it, but
Jack Nicholson, yes.
Kubrick, that was Stanley Kubrick that actually directed that film.
Yeah.
Of course, like it's his written material, Stephen King's written material, but I'm not sure if he actually directed the remake for that film like a long time ago. I think that was like in the 90s, something like that.
Yeah, in the night. Yeah, Stephen King. Right. Yeah, that film was like in the 90s. I remember watching that film. Very scary.
Right. Even what's the other film called again? Sleepwalkers. Like
Sleepwalkers.
Like, now that I believe that he directed that film. It was Sleepwalkers. He directed that one. That was a pretty interesting film. As a matter of fact, some of those films gave me a little bit of inspiration for this particular film too.
Good.
So it's only right just to kind of like pull certain inspirations out from other ideas. Of course, like it kind of plays around with a lot of things or whatever. But yeah. But furthermore into this particular film, we decided to go ahead and make it a little bit more exotic like. So we're definitely going to film in some exotic places pretty soon. I know that I can't necessarily speak on certain locations, but I'm just going to say that we filmed at an exotic. Well, we are going to film at an exotic place eventually. Awesome.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, like it's going great. Like it's gonna be great. I already have like the visuals inside my head. Already like put everything on paper as far as what is that, the thumbnails and the storyboard and things of that nature. So it's definitely going to be fantastic. And even going a little bit further, so with the first film, I did mess around with color theory a little bit. So of course, if you watch the first, there's green in it. And of course, green normally translates. We know that green is all about the money most of the times, right?
Hello, come on, T.
Right. So that's definitely important, right? But
right.
Yeah, but nonetheless, like green for this particular film, it's because of kids, it's children, and what kids have, they have a lot of energy, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Green represents energy. It represents life. Like everything that's outside, like everything that's green is good, right? So you have the plant life. You also have everything else that's outside too that consists of that. But nonetheless, with this particular film, the sequel, we definitely played around with a couple of colors. So there's purple, there's gold. Like so, basically, it's the secondary colors of color spectrum. So I took green, purple, as well as yellow. But of course, like that yellow still represents gold, so to speak, right? Now, another thing is I could probably speak a little bit more like as far as this particular film, as far as the theme. So of course everyone in the daily a lot of people go through challenges, right? So it's
Right.
like you, me, like everybody, regardless whether if you're like in this country, that country, whatever, like we all go through challenges, and that's actually one of the main things that we're kind of like taking advantage of as far as the story.
Mhm.
So of course, all of these characters, well, one of the characters is definitely going through a challenge, but nonetheless, it's a challenge that's guaranteed. As a matter of fact, like if you look at the cover art, the box cover art for this film, it's even there as far as the log line, challenge accepted. So not only are these characters going through challenges, but it's like myself, I'm sort of going through challenges as well too
Yeah, we all
with this
do. Yeah,
film, because it's like number one, we all know that filming is not an easy task. Like
it's
filming
not.
is very complex but beautiful art form, right?
Yeah, yes,
But nonetheless, it's not easy. We
it's
all know, and it's a challenge for me. So
right.
as a matter of fact, this is a feature film. So although this is a sequel from the original short film, I said to myself, you know what? I want to be a little bit more ambitious. So let's see if we can go ahead and establish a feature film instead. And of course, I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't have any experience in that. And then, of course, like going to the previous film festivals that I've been to, I've learned the number one thing is that you need a team, and a team is definitely the most important. Even my co-director, he's actually told me that. Ramel Xavier Morales, he definitely went to go in and tell me that. Just going to give me that advice, and he's a great mentor to me as well. So
Right.
if you check out Ramel Xavier Morales, check out his film Miscalculated. That's on Tubi and Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken.
Calculated. I think I seen that.
Yeah, Miscalculated. Yeah, it's
Miscalculated. I think I seen that.
yeah, he definitely released that. I believe it was earlier this year on platforms, but
Mm.
I actually went to his red carpet premiere last year. So that thing, it was sold out. It was so many people that were there. He was even telling me that like, hey man, you see like what we did here tonight. We're gonna do the same thing for you as well. And I was like, all right, bet,
That's
cool.
awesome. That's awesome.
So Ramel Xavier Morales, like he's definitely like a great mentor to me. He's a great, phenomenal director as well. He's a great dude.
Right.
Yeah, so prior to the film, Split Two Family Jewels, we definitely have like so much that's that's going on as far as the color that I told you, the color theory spectrum and
Yeah.
whatnot. We have a lot of music that's going on, like for instance, my music that's in there. It's you can definitely go and check out some of that work on Amazon Music, like on all streaming platforms,
Right.
basically. So
Lobo. Yeah.
you want to go ahead and listen to a glimpse of some of the music now that's in the film, like you can definitely go in and check out the soundtrack, which
Hmm.
is like an EP, so it's like a very miniature soundtrack that I actually established. And these are songs that I pulled from back in 2013.
Right.
So these songs that I made like a long time ago, but I said to myself, you know what, these songs are actually pretty fitting for the film.
Right.
With the whole dark and light element that just kind of clashes in or whatever, and then of course you have like this orchestrated type of sounds almost like Final Fantasy type of stuff or whatnot. So yeah, you got like a lot of good music that's going on.
Right.
Even Michael Cole's going on with him. This guy, he's also like a mentor to me as well. I gotta give it up to him because I actually met him back at the Prince George's Film Festival back in 2022, and that was the first annual film festival, for Prince George's County. And the thing about that film festival is that they, I'm going to tell you this. So the celebrities that were there, correct? You had Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles Lawson. You had Richard Lawson that were there. You had Chad L. Coleman from The Walking Dead. He was there
Mm.
actually. Shook hands with him, took a photo
Awesome.
with him.
Awesome.
He actually followed me on Instagram, so I was like,
Cool.
oh wow, he's following that, like whatever. So
That's great. That's great.
yeah, no, absolutely. But not going back with Michael, like I met him at a particular seating, like it was, I believe it was a ceremony for the Prince George's Film Festival. And, I was just sitting amongst like him and like, several other people, so to speak. And it's interesting because, he was asking me, are you a filmmaker? And I was like, yeah, like, why wouldn't I be a filmmaker? This is a film festival. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Yes.
right, you're right. But nonetheless, like, he was just asking me exactly what did I do as far as filming. And I told him, well, like, I'm a writer, I'm a director, like, I produce, I make music, and of course, I'm an editor too. And he said, wow, you're an editor. I was like, yeah. He said, like, well, I can really use an editor. And I was like, all right, let's go in the network and let's see what goes on. So,
Right.
hours later, of course, I get this friend request on Instagram, and I'm like, well, wait a second, this guy, he got a blue check mark. I don't even know who he is or whatever. This is before you can actually purchase verifications on
Yes.
all platforms and such or whatever, right? But nonetheless, like I said to myself, all right, this guy is pretty significant. But anyways, like we hit it up, met one of his studio producers. His name is Salim. Like, I worked with him over in Fairfax, Virginia. Like, coming back from Beltsville, Virginia, Prince George's County, all the way over to Fairfax County, Virginia. It's like, man, that's a ride. But it's worth it, And the reason over there is because Michael, he wanted me to work on his project. And now this project is actually greenlit by the producers that did the Kardashians, which is actually great. And like, I'll go on and tell you this. So what the interesting thing when I sat at that table is that he introduced me to his wives, not wife, but his wives, right?
Oh,
So,
wow.
like, yeah, so he has, get this, he has 2 wives, and if I'm not mistaken, it's 28 kids now. So, like,
boy.
Yeah.
I thought I had some. Like, he beat me by 100.
Yeah. Right. I said, like, man, like that's crazy. Like, you got a lot of mouths to feed. But I mean, like, of course, I don't have any kids yet, but it's like, if I want kids, I just want 2, maybe 3, and that's it. Like, I'm cutting it off. But not like he's a pretty interesting character. But like as far as Michael, he's great. As far as me, last week, one of the tracks that's going to be in the film, like one of his songs actually features the artist, the hip hop artist, Philly Freeway. That's there. So like we got that going on. So it's a lot of folks that he knows. Like, I'm not going to say too much, especially with the current project that he's working on, which is supposed to be on BET. But like we're still trying to like he's still trying to see what's going on with that project. But nonetheless, like I do have my nephew. He's here. Like, I want to see whether if he can go in and talk about his music, because he's interesting. Like, he got like a lot of things that's going on for him. He's Dominican American, and like we've met like a long time ago through his little brother, because of the fact that like his little brother is actually inside the film. So I'm not sure like whether he's in here or not. Like, did he pop in? Maybe he can go on and talk about his music that's inside.
No, but I've heard the music that you sent me.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, and it's kind of like reggaeton, kind of like our music.
Yeah, like reggaeton, like it's like dembo, basically. Like
like dembo.
Yeah. So he's Dominican, from the Dominican Republic or whatever.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Parents, like they're hardcore Dominican, but like he's Dominican American,
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was wondering too, because like I saw your last name, Santiago, because like there's a city that's over in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, it's called Santiago. Yeah, but no, I'm from the other side. I'm from Puerto Rico. I'm from
Puerto Rico. Okay, so you're Boricua, right?
Yeah, Boricua. Yeah.
That's
yeah. So.
But like that's que bueno. But like, yo sé lo sé español.
Tú sabes español.
See,
Okay, that's good. That's good. Spanish is good to know, man. You know, anywhere you go in a lot of countries, Spanish, you know, people speak Spanish.
right.
It's a good language to know.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
know,
one. Ya tú sabes.
ya tú sabes.
Uh,
Yeah, you know,
yeah.
T. You know, I've been out to your side of the neck of the woods, and
Mm-hmm.
I did like I did two films with June DeGasio. I don't know if you know who he is, June. Johnny knows who.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah, June. He is also a director from the DV out there. From where you at.
Okay.
He's from Virginia, but he shot a lot in Baltimore,
Yeah, because there's
the
a lot of stuff
DMV.
over in Baltimore. That's the thing. It's a
Yeah,
lot. So I understand that aspect. But I mean, but yeah, like the whole entire DMV as a whole, is basically a beacon of light now. So even going back to that film festival that I was telling you about, that's one of the number one reasons why, like most of those celebrities say came to that area, just so they can go ahead and represent like the creatives in the DMV area as a whole. So which is great. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's definitely like important that we need. It's a lot of creatives over here overall.
yeah. There is. You know, it's just like a lot. It's like little Hollywood now. You know,
Yeah, basically.
you know.
But we need
So
that, because Hollywood, like Hollywood, they have their thing that's over in California. But I mean, like, listen, you got Georgia, like you got Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, you have
Atlanta,
right, yeah,
Atlanta,
Atlanta,
Florida. You know,
right,
those are big
yeah.
filming places.
Mm-hmm.
Even here in Boston, in New York. Um, but I feel like I don't know. Like I work good with out of town people.
Mm,
No,
okay,
I like every work that I've gotten has been out of town. Like I've done nothing here in Boston. I've done nothing in New York.
right.
I've worked in your area. I've worked in Vegas. And no, I did one here. I did one here in Boston. That was the first time I did, called Don Hazel the Gangster. I did like a gangster movie. I played a
Okay,
biker because I had a
okay.
I had a bi- I had a
I got
bike crew at the time.
okay. Hold say that again. Hold on.
I played a biker. I played a biker in the film.
Oh,
Um,
okay, monoculture, right? Like
yeah, like
okay,
choppers. Yeah, yeah,
okay, gotcha. That's what's up.
yeah.
That's what's
So
okay.
I get those roles. Those like gangster roles. Those like bad guy roles because I got that face.
Right, yeah,
You know
yeah.
which is,
I tell, man.
which is okay. And I'm a big dude too. I'm not a little guy, but
Yeah, I see that. I'm a little guy, but I'm getting there too a little bit.
yeah. I see, I see you. But I like to play other parts. Like
Right.
I was saying in the other show. Hey Stevie, how you doing, my brother? Um, Big shout out to the UK, man. Ireland actually.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah,
Oh,
and I like to touch other fields. Just because I want to be able to do not just not just play one role as a bad guy or a bodyguard. I want to touch other fields.
yeah, you want to be a bit versatile, basically. Yeah.
Versatile, correctly. So
Right.
the TV series that I'm gonna be playing in a couple months. I get to play a character which is me. I get to play me.
Right.
In this film, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I want a little more challenge. Like I said earlier, I like to be like in a military film, maybe a Western film, or even a mob film.
Yeah,
Um,
because I think you were even asking Johnny last week, whether if he was in a military film. I think you sparked interest in that as well. Like,
yeah,
that's that
yeah,
with him. But yeah, like,
yeah,
I mean, hey man, that's a tough road to kind of fill in a little bit. Like, especially like if you're kind of deep as far as like, especially if it's a war film.
yeah,
Uh, and that's one thing I want to touch bases on, because my father, he
yes,
and of course, like, he did several tours over in Afghanistan and of
and
course
yeah,
Iraq. And like, from what he was telling me, he was like, honestly, real, like, anytime that the media or like, the news overall, like, just mainstream media or
Yeah.
whatnot, like they discuss things that's over in other countries, like don't believe everything what they say, because, unless like you step your feet inside the boots of a soldier, then that's when you really get like, the actual news or whatnot, so it's like,
Right.
okay, well, makes sense to me,
No,
so it's like,
and he's right. I
yeah,
I got some friends that have been in in Iraq and stuff, and I got friends that are there now.
right.
And the ones that came back, were really disappointed.
Mm,
They were really disappointed in our country,
right.
um, because they thought they went in for one thing, and it wasn't what they thought. you
Mhm.
know and then they started like really looking at what it was for, and they were ready to pull out. you know they felt manipulated.
Right.
And we all know that people like you and I that know what's really going on behind the
Yeah,
scene, we know.
absolutely. Yeah.
So but my military, when I say I want to be in the military, and I might shoot it myself, I don't care. um
I mean,
you
hey,
know
if you got to do it, like do it yourself, then.
yeah, yeah, just
Sometimes,
kind of like bring the reality, the truth,
right.
to it, instead of just what we see. And I was thinking of talking to some of my friends that been there,
Right.
and just kind of like let them tell me their story, and then from that I can create something.
Mm.
um you know and because I really believe that we've been sidetracked, we've been lied to so for so long that we believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Kind of
crazy.
like, we've become desensitized, so to speak,
Yes,
in order
yes,
to, kind of like see the stuff behind their lens, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah,
and when you really kind of search for truth, like, because it's like me normally, I just do like a lot of independent researching myself, truthfully. So it's like, it's like you really have to kind of conduct your own research and kind
yeah,
of see, like, from two sides of the stories, basically, and then you
yeah,
kind of, compare and contrast on like what's really going on and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So when what type of projects do you like to create?
Well,
um
like, definitely drama,
Drama.
family adventure, of course, because of the
Yeah.
current project I'm doing right now, which is
Right.
really fun. But of course, horror. Like, I want to kind of step into that a little bit, because when I started editing, some parts of this film, and it was like my first experience, just like, doing a jump scare sequence or whatever, and I was like, well, wait a second, I did that. That's how it works or whatever, because you know like, of course, the visuals is definitely important for
Mm.
horror,
Yeah.
but the other thing too, as far as like, being a musician and all, like, sound is definitely important. So if you
Yes.
don't have like, your sound elements, as far as horror, it's like, it's kind of bland or whatnot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you definitely want to make it on point. And like, one of the jump scares that I have, like anytime that I just like, share this particular scene with a lot of people, it literally makes them jump, and they're
Good.
like, I didn't know, I didn't expect that. It's like, yeah, like, expect it because that's in the film.
Right. 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 Right.
But yeah, no, I definitely want to step into the horror light too. Like, I think that's, it might be a little daunting, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I think I know what to do with that,
Right.
but of course, I also want to do coming of age type of films, because, I was definitely inspired by directors such as like John Hughes,
Hmm.
amazing, director. Unfortunately, he's not with us any longer.
Right.
Um, but watching films such as like Ferris Bueller's Days Off, Home Alone,
Hmm.
uh, 16 Candles, like all of these films that he's made, like, it just brings a bit of like, nostalgic feelings, and like you know, those were like feel good films, you know, like very feel
Right.
good. And that's something that I want to bring to the table because I feel as though personally for me, like there's a lot of films that's out there now, like you know, that don't truly have any substance, you know.
Right.
But I said to myself, you know what, like let me see if I can kind of like tackle, for instance, like the short film that I told you about, which is you know, Split. So like
Mm.
the first film, before the sequel. I kind of wanted to touch bases on nostalgia. So, like at the time, my man's Matthew Thurman, and of course, like you know, my producer Patricia Renderos, and then of course, like my other friend, which he was actually one of the acting coaches for the film, Rashard Dooney. You know, do like you know, my whole team back then, like we were on point. We just want to create something with nostalgia, something that kind of brought us back to our childhood,
Right.
and it was like really excellent. Like it was like a great idea, a brainstorm thing that we brought to the table, and you know, it was just something that we really wanted to do because we felt as though that there weren't any more films like that, and
Right.
then especially on you know, on top of the cases where we don't necessarily see a lot of you know, kids films that represent, you know, the Latino community as well as like you know, the black community and things of that
Yeah.
nature. So I thought to myself that like, you know, let's see if I can go ahead and venture out and you know, establish a casting call, you know, for the particular neighborhood that I was in, because I was actually working as a naturalist with Maryland National Capital Park and Planning at the time when I was filming that particular film back then, that short film. So I reached out, you know, to my nephew, Brian Cueto Yenti, and of course, like I said, his brother, like he does music and stuff like that too. Like hopefully he should be able to like get that link if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not
Mm.
sure if he's any yet, but like you know, I really wanted to go on a allow him to talk more about his music. But nonetheless, you know, when I was casting this film, like, you know, I definitely wanted, you know, a very diverse group of kids, you know, to
Right.
play their such like that. And I
Mm.
thought that was important because it's like, yeah, like, you know, we've seen Goonies and we've seen like, you know, Stand By Me, those particular films.
Yeah.
And I just saw that there was like just a little bit of something that was missing, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I was like, all right, like, let's see if we can go ahead and, you know, just going to get like a group of kids. Like, so we did like a little casting call. And of course, you know, my boy Matthew Thurman, he wanted to, you know, get professional actors at first, and I was like, well,
Mm.
that sounds great, but let's see if we can go ahead and like, you know, lower our budget a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so like, you know, we did that. Like, we got the film like initiated. Like, we shot the film within a matter of 3 months. There was a time that my nephew actually went over to the DR, like, you know, for quite some time or whatever, which is great for him. But when he came back, we definitely finished the film, and then we got it out, won several awards or whatnot, and you know, here it is, what we have like today. You know,
Right.
so you know, the sequel that we're currently filming at the moment.
Right. That's great. You know, me growing up in the '80s, right, Terrell? Like
Right.
I'm much older than you are, but
Right. Yeah.
when I was coming up,
Hmm.
you know, Latinos and Black African America, we was one. We was united, at you know,
Absolutely.
especially in New York, here in Boston. Like we was like a team. When
Right.
we moved in a unit, and along the way, you know, because I've seen the transition from
Hmm.
how we departed from each other,
Yeah.
right?
Gradually. Yeah. Mhm.
I seen the breakup and how it broke up, and I want
Right.
to write. I want to do a story or film based on that because now what I see is not saying that we don't interact with each other,
Right.
right? But we don't like we used to. You know, like
Yeah.
you go to New York back in the '80s and '90s, man. It was like, Poppy, yo, what's up? You know,
It's like
I'll be at your house eating, you be at my house eating. You know,
right.
you know, and back in those times, like there wasn't too many foreigners from other countries. Like it was like
Right.
you was either black, Puerto Rican, or Irish or Italian or whatever. That's what I saw. Dominicans came in after, and if there was some there was very little of them.
Mhm.
Haitians, whatever. Like there was none of that. It
Right.
was just black or Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Oh, that's it. So as they started to come in, and and time started to change when the crack epidemic came in.
Mm. Yeah, that was like towards like the late 80s, wasn't it? Or was it
Right,
like
towards the 80s, towards beginning of the 90s.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Everything started to shift.
Right.
And I haven't seen a film yet talking about that time.
That particular issue.
That particular issue, how it divided us.
Right.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like and that's an interesting topic of how you put it. Because like I feel as though that like it was done purposely to kind of divide like people, like the divide and conquer situation or whatever.
yes.
And I will go on to say this, like besides that, I feel as though that there is like a rise of our communities, like kind of joining again. I see that a lot with current hip hop or whatnot. Especially with what's the dude's name again? I can't remember the rapper.
Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, Busta Rhymes, for instance. Yeah, like so him, like several other like hip hop artists too. Like so I just see like like a gradual rise back into it, because it's like even if you go to places such as like the Dominican Republic, you can see the influence. Like I mean, of course, like from what I was like from what I've learned, like Puerto Ricans, they definitely established like I don't know, I still don't know this particular subject. I mean, I could be wrong, right? But either Puerto Ricans or Panamanians, how they established reggae time.
Yeah, we established it. We established that everybody ran with it, but that's fine. That's fine. Just like when you say bachata, right? They think bachata started in DR. That started in my country.
Right.
That is originally from my country, and then one person from DR took it and they ran with it. That's why the bachata is big in DR. But that was established in Puerto Rico. I know a lot of them don't like to admit it, but that's okay. They don't know they don't know the history. That's why. I know the history about it, so that's why I know. But if you ask a Dominican, now where was it founded, they will say in DR.
Right.
But it wasn't. It was founded in Puerto Rico.
Well, it's like even with what's that the martial arts, like capoeira, for instance, right? Because I think, of course, like it's definitely popular in Brazil. That's where it was established too, right?
The what?
But you can kind of capoeira, the martial arts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a dance. It looks almost like break dancing, basically. That's what I thought.
Brazil is a good. Let's start with Brazil. Brazil has that dance, but it's actually martial art where they, So if you ask me, the first person I saw that do that was a Brazilian guy.
Right.
But I can't tell you where was that founded. But I know Brazilians do that martial art a lot.
Correct. From what I was told, it kind of like, of course, it was definitely established in Brazil, but of course, like you got to go to the derivative of it.
Yes.
So it's, some of those like little elements kind of come from, I think, like Western Africa or something like that. Or
like Africa too, because Africans,
right,
but Africans do it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I was like, okay, so. Because I mean, like I'm definitely big on history or whatever. That's why I was like, with the reggae time, I was like, well, I could be wrong. Like, who established first as far as reggae time, Panamanians or Puerto Ricans. But now I know, like from what you said, according to you, Puerto Rico. So like, but no, like that's just something that I like to do. like just kind of like going to the pinpoint of history, even like when it comes to like the biblical sense of things, as far as like when human civilization started, like we normally get that Ethiopia was basically the cradle of life or whatever. So it's like it's like all of that stuff or whatever that I love.
Yeah, but you know, T,
Yeah,
we have to do a lot of research because
yeah, that's
you
important.
know we've been told so many lies, you know, since birth, from your mother's generation to your father's generations. We've been told so many lies that we don't know what to believe.
That's true.
Right. So, you know, I'm not saying that what you're saying is right or wrong, but
Right.
you know, I feel that this, you know, at my age now, that you know, everything I've learned in school, everything that I was told, you know, now I know it was all a smoke screen, right?
Yeah, no,
A lot of it, right?
I
Smoke
want
screen. So now at my age, where do I start to begin to search for the truth?
right.
Right. I know, you know, I am African, you know, I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm African first. You know what I'm saying? We all come from, have some part of Africa in us.
Right.
So, and I say this because I'm also Taino Indian, right? So,
Right, yeah. Like the natives from Puerto Rico. Same
right,
thing. Yeah, too. Yeah.
right. So, what is actually my language besides English? All right. I speak Spanish, but Spanish is not my language either, because Spanish comes from Espanol, from Spain.
Right,
Right.
exactly. Right.
I'm not Hispanic, and I'm not Latino. That's all comes from that. That
Spain.
is from Spain, from
That's
our colonials, that are slaves.
right. That's like
So
Salvador, like they're descendants of Mayans, basically,
right.
right?
So
Like
right. So now I'm lost, bro. To tell you, I'm lost. Like now I got to find who am I?
right.
What's my real root? You know.
Absolutely.
So I'm not Hispanic. I'm not Latino. You know, we're Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans, and Tainos. You know, Taino has a language,
Right.
right? What that language is, I don't know, because I've never heard that side of my blood or
Right.
my ancestors speak that language. And Borinquen comes from the Tainos.
I guess
And
I'm learning something new now.
yeah, so now at this age, I feel lost, because the history that I've learned in school is not it's not
It's
that history.
that we've basically learned, like outside of anything. It's like we were just basically taught what we were supposed to learn, so to speak, right? However, it's like what's the other thing that I kind of want to touch bases on that? It's even the whole Christopher Columbus thing with the Native Americans over here, for instance. It's like,
Okay.
oh, that Christopher Columbus massacred Native Americans until right when I was in high school. But like, during elementary, middle school, like, I was always taught that, like, oh yeah, Christopher Columbus, he discovered the Americas or whatever. Like,
Which is a lie.
yeah, which is a lie,
Lie. How can you discover something when there's people already living in it?
Yeah.
Same thing with the Americans, same thing with the British and Americans, that when they came into this land,
Right.
they say they control it. No, you can't say that, because there was people already living here. Same thing, they controlled it because they had the power, they had the guns, and they had the army. That's the only reason why they conquered everything.
Yeah, they took over.
They took over, but the Indians and the Black African Americans were here first, and I think the blacks were here before the Indians, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Like, I need to research more on that too. Like,
Right.
but I'm hearing a lot about that recently. Like, I'm kind of late on. I was told, someone told me, like, years ago, and I was like saying, well, like, I don't know about it. Like, let me go in and like do my own little research, and it's like, I'm definitely going to go in and like research that a little bit more too, you know, because that's
Right.
interesting. And if I mean, I can believe it too, because honestly, you know, they definitely had like transportation to, you know, coming from seas to seas and things. So like, why wouldn't they want to go like, you know, visit another country, or just to kind of like see whatever it is that's out there, basically, right?
Right.
But nonetheless, like speaking on you know, Taino natives, like in the film, like the current project that I'm working on, like we actually do have a character that's supposed to be Taino, because originally what I wanted to do with this film, um, I wanted to kind of you know, discuss history. I wanted to do a blend of history, of course, adventure, and then like horror all at the same time.
Right.
But now it's like a family comedy adventure, like with a little bit of horror elements and whatnot. But I definitely want to, like, you know, bring that to attention, so to speak, in
Yeah.
my film. Like that's another thing when I want to do, like integrate history, like you know, even for instance, like with Native Americans, because
Yes.
like again, when I was a naturalist, working for park and planning, like you know, we had to you know, go to all of these meetings. We had to learn, like, you know, of course, customer service training. Like, we had to go to all of these trainings. But anyways, like, there was this one training that was very vital to us, and we had to learn a lot about the Piscataway natives. You
Mm.
know, in Prince George's County, because they actually travel from Florida. They migrated from Florida all the way up to Prince George's County, and I think like a little further up north too. But anyways, it's like you have the Piscataway natives, and I've learned so much that even going back to like you know, the last name. So it's like, for instance, the last name Proctor. Like anyone, from what I was told, like you know, from that training long ago, I was told that anyone that has that last name Proctor, they're considered Piscataway, or they have like you know, Piscataway native in their blood or whatnot. So
Right.
you know, that's I definitely want to touch bases of history, like you know, inside my film. But I know, of course, like you have the nations, like certain things. For instance, what I've learned, like during that training, like you have to ask them for permission,
Yeah.
or you can go ahead and like you know, talk about certain subjects or whatever, and that's like, you know, that's much respect, you know. So when that time comes, like you know, I definitely want to do something like that, you know.
Yeah. I would talk directly to a native person and get the
Yeah, no,
info. You
right.
know, you know, when I was in school one time, it's just funny, right?
Uh-huh.
I was in class, in the history class, right?
Right.
And you know, I had a teacher. She was Caucasian, and she was talking about my country.
Right.
And you know, I said, listen, how you gonna talk about a country that you ain't never been to and
Yeah.
tell me about my country? You don't know nothing about it, you know.
Yeah.
And so everybody started to laugh, you know, because she was talking about Africa. She was talking about this, and she's never been there. You know, she's
Right.
not. You're not even that from that culture, and you tell her. So this is why I say that everything that I was taught in school was lies. You
Right.
know,
Because
and,
you
and
got
it,
source. You got to get it directly from the source of like who that,
yes, yes,
you know, what
yes,
they know as far as like their history and like you know, their experiences, basically, you know.
right.
So that's interesting. Like I haven't had anything like that happen to me, but that's funny. Like yeah,
Yeah, I was
that,
laughing. You know, I was like, "How you gonna sit here and tell me about Puerto Rico? I'm
yeah,
from there. I lived there. I know." And you know, and I just felt like I had to say that. I said, "You don't know nothing about my country. You're telling me stuff you're reading off a book that you guys created.
mhm.
You
Yeah,
know, that you
history.
guys created. That book ain't even from my island. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
like I remember one of my teachers, Mr. Shorts. That was his name. He passed away long ago. Rest his soul. Like you know, he was he was a great teacher. Like you know, if man, like you know, if anyone kind of broke out into a fight, he'll literally make them fight, but he'll go in and cover the windows. So he was that type or whatever, you know. But
yeah,
nonetheless,
yeah.
you know, he was like teaching like not necessarily teaching, but he actually like made us aware of certain words or whatever. So like history, for instance, is like his story. And it's like I never really got that until after I graduated from high school. And I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense, So it's like written by whoever that makes like it's almost like that phrase, like whoever makes the code makes the rules or whatever, right? So it's like that's unfortunately that's sort of like the thing that's going on today.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to write a film or story about me trying to find myself. Who am I?
Right.
And that's what I want to call the film. Who am I?
Who am I? Okay.
Because I'm truly lost. T. I know I'm like I said, I'm not Hispanic and I'm not Latino. That's from the Españols and over there from Italy side. That's them. Who am I? I don't know who am I. Who am I? What's really my background?
Right.
All I know is what I've been told from the history books from these people.
Correct.
So how do I find out where am I? I know I'm African, and because it's in my blood, and I know I'm Taino, right? And Taino language has disappeared. Basically, I don't know no one that speaks that language. Maybe there is.
Well, Latin hasn't. It hasn't like disappeared or anything. You just have less people speaking Latin, if I'm not mistaken.
Not Latin. I'm talking about Taino.
No.
I mean,
I understand what I was just trying to like make a comparison and contrast and comparison and whatnot. But no, like you're absolutely right. It's like I don't know what language that could be. For instance, it's almost like it's like what you said, right? About how, of course, you're Puerto Rican, you're Taino and African.
right.
But it's like you don't have your language. Your language is lost. That's almost like with
Exactly.
Black folks or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
although our descendants, like, well, not our descendants, but like our ancestors, right? Like they were brought over here into this country. Like, yeah, when they were brought over, they spoke whatever language from whatever countries that they came from, because it's like, it's like to this day, like a lot of people, anytime that I go around anywhere, like, people think that I'm African, like, a Caribbean, and they're like, oh, are you from this country? Or are you from this? Like, no, I'm American. Like, I was raised here, like my parents, they're American, like father, like everybody, they're American from what I know. But it's like, the language is lost. So it's like, I don't know where I came from, basically.
Yeah, the roots, like what tribe did your ancestors belong to?
Right.
What was spoken? What was the language that was spoken then? So that's where I want to get to, T.
Right.
and then write about it, and then shoot a film about it. Where did we get lost? Where did everything transition where we stopped speaking our language? Just like they say African Americans,
right?
Your last name ain't really Johnson's. Your last name ain't Smith. Your last name ain't, an example, Coleman or Vernon. That's not an African last name.
No, it's not.
If you ask me,
those are English names,
right? So, where did everything transition where we start losing who we are, who we were? And now from what I heard in history, that we needed to learn English to be accepted. That we had to learn the language because they couldn't speak our language. So this is why everybody speaks English.
Yeah, which is interesting as well, because even during those times, like during the Atlantic slave trade, like those particular times, like even if you were to read, like it was considered illegal, like which is like very right. So it's like, wow, like they definitely kind of like
they didn't want us. Yeah, they didn't want thinkers. They wanted workers.
Right. Absolutely.
And still to today, we still doing it. You know, still centuries, decades before, we still workers. They don't want us to think. They don't want us to be entrepreneurs. They want us to be workers to make them rich.
And
You
I
know.
think that was a whole mental process evidently, because it's like it travels through genes as well. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's like, of course, like everything is not exactly, it's not the same, like overall, but of course, like psychologically, like for us, it's like we still kind of go through that. It's like we were just mentally bashed, so to speak. That's
Yeah.
not exactly the word that I'm looking for, but
Oh,
like
program,
like program basically.
program. Yeah,
We were mentally programmed. So
yeah,
it's like it's a lot of other stuff I can talk based on that, but I'm not going to speak. I think I know what you think.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
know exactly what I'm thinking, man.
Right.
So
So
right.
it's something that I've been thinking about, and I'm trying to
Mhm.
find a way how to write it and how to put it together, because it's a very it's tough to put together, and and to come up with the ideas how to do it without offending anybody. You know,
Yeah,
but it needs to be talked about, because if it seems to me like it's fading away and nobody cares about it. You
yeah,
know, just
and
like the native Indians. They were the first ones here.
right,
And those people went through a lot, just like the African Americans, and we did. You know,
right.
um, uh,
And it's essentially like the Mexicans of today are technically Native Americans too. So that's another aspect of of how much how to say diluted it's become, as far as like languages, as far as like
right,
background and all that type of stuff. But no, it's definitely important. History is important. I think languages are important too. So it's like what I told you. Yeah, I speak Spanish. I'm still learning it. Todavía estoy aprendiendo.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
but I also studied Japanese before that, which is like why Spanish comes easy to me. Even better.
yeah.
But nevertheless, like I think that's important. I think it's even I'll be saying to myself, I think to myself most of the times, I'm like, man, it would be so great if kids like over here, they can go ahead and start learning these languages, because like when you're a kid, like your brain is basically a sponge.
Yeah,
So
it
it's like,
picks up everything.
yeah, you just learn it quickly. So it's like, if most of these kids today, like, even in the future, if they're able to go on and learn languages, like, regardless whether it may be Spanish, Japanese, like Italian, French, whatever, like,
Russian, yeah,
right, yeah, Russian, like, I think that's, something that should be implemented, like, public schools, like first grade, second grade,
yeah,
whenever,
yeah,
like, I think that's definitely important, because, you get to learn a lot, like, and languages, like it does something to your brain, where it's sort of like I'm not going to say that it makes you super intelligent or anything like
right,
that,
yeah,
but like it's interesting, because then you start to learn the derivative of certain words, or like the root words, for instance. So it's like importante, that's important basically, right? Or
yeah.
like what's another word, like a root word that's in Spanish, like similar, like that's similar or whatever. So
Uh-huh.
it's you
Simular, doctor,
right.
which is
It's
doctor.
right, so
You
on and
know,
so forth. It's like
yeah,
it's really interesting, because it kind of opens your eye a little bit more, and it's like, oh, that's where this comes from. That's where that language, and then it ties into like German, like Latin, like it
yeah,
stems from that particular language, Latin. Most of
right.
those. So yeah, like I said, it's like you learn so much from it, like, and then it makes you want to learn more, so to speak. So it's like, for me, I love to learn. So that's just how I like to do, man. Like
Right, right,
over,
right. So,
you know.
okay. So, how many films have you done so far?
So far, let's see. There's a Book by Its Cover. I believe it should be 5 films. Let's see. Book by Its Cover, Split, The Fall. No, Split 2, Family Jewels. No, 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 no. Like, this is the fourth film. This is the fourth film. But I'm actually working on like 2 films at the moment. That can't necessarily say what they are.
Right.
Um, but it's like what I told you earlier, how I want to work on a coming of age film, almost similar to like Ferris Bueller's Days Off. Like
Right.
I want to do something like that, but based on my childhood, like loosely based on my childhood a little bit. But
See, I like how you think, because we think alike. You know, I
yeah,
got this thing I wrote. I got like 35 pages, and it's based kind of like on my story.
okay,
You know, it's based on me, but you know, of
right,
course, I can't really say everything I did, but some is fiction. But
right,
it's based on my life growing up, you know, in the streets, you know, and doing some of the things that I did. You know, I mean, I paid for it. I went to prison for it, but
right,
I what I really want to tell in the story is that, you know, sometimes we get put in situations where we don't have a choice. People say, "Oh, you have a choice." Sometimes you don't have a choice,
sometimes you
you
don't,
know.
huh?
And I was put in a position when I was younger where I had to provide, right?
Right,
I had to provide. School didn't do it for me. I was never a school kid, you know what I'm saying? I was always hanging with the older folks. I seen the flashy cars, the money, the cars, the girls, you know,
right,
and you know, and I was sitting at tables with hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars, you know, and I was be like, go to the store, go to the store for these guys and come back, and here's $200. I was making more money than my parents at a
right,
young age, you know, and I had to hide my money because they were like, where you getting money from? So, you know, and I wasn't doing it for the flash or the glory of me being a dealer. It
hmm,
was to provide. You know, I wanted
yeah,
to help, and that's the only way I knew how. And so I grew into that lifestyle
hmm,
at a young age, to where I got to an age where I became my own boss,
right,
right? And I ran my city for like 10 years, right? And and what I was doing, I was still doing good because I was helping those that were fortunate. You know,
right,
I will buy groceries for the lady next door that, you know, that couldn't afford it. Um, Miss 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 Johnson, which was my African American, you know, neighbor that, you know, was in, you know, she was on stroller and she couldn't go. I send my boy, one of my workers, to the store, say, hey, get her whatever she need. So I was like, I was loved by the neighborhood, but I was hated by the police. You know what I mean?
yeah. No,
So
like
you
you
know,
know, it's so interesting because that's the thing. Like people, they shouldn't judge right away, right?
right. Mm-hmm.
And like we all have to go through certain experiences, and then that's the thing about life. Like you know, it's a living experience. So
Right.
regardless what like you know you're doing this or that, like you know you have to take it with a grain of salt and live life how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like you know, regardless whether if you may have like a couple of blemishes like here and there or whatever, like nonetheless, like you know, if you made the decision to change your life around, then that's a 100% pointer. Like that's an A plus, you know. So
Right.
it shouldn't matter like you know whether like yeah like you know you sold this on the streets or whatever. Like you had to do what you could,
Right.
you know, just going to provide,
Yeah.
like, as what you said, like, you know, to provide, like, you know,
Yeah.
not only for your parents, but for like, you know, your neighbors and like Miss Johnson,
Yeah.
what you said,
Yeah.
like, you know, those are things that's important. And then like when you do stuff like that for people, because it's like, even I'm not trying to like go into like the whole religious subject matter or anything
Yeah.
like that, but like, you know, do unto others as they do unto you, right?
Right.
Like, you know, not that you're doing it like for flashy or anything like that, but when you
Right.
do good people, you know, good things will turn around for you.
Right.
You know? And
Right.
like I think that's the number one thing what a lot of people like you know in this day and age are forgetting. Like you know, it's not about the bad. Like we're gonna have bad things happen regardless, you know.
Yeah.
But I think what most people have to do is just focus on the good, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And you know, people also got to remember that this country was built in lies, murders, and
But
blood money, and
a
blood
lot,
money. You know,
yeah,
this country was built that way. You know,
right.
so for them to turn around and say you can't do it after they done did it, you know, and I'm not killing anybody. I'm just trying to live and trying to make it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they went beyond that. So for them to sit there and judge you and sit in the courtroom and say, "Oh, you're guilty," well, you should look at you guys first. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Look,
Especially.
so I those are things that I think of, and I want to put something together.
Right.
It's going to be a crazy film, but I want good writers that could write it, put it together, because there's so much that I want to say and I want to show people,
Mhm.
um, that is gonna make them think different, you know. Um, yeah, you got certain people that do certain things to do bad, but some people do bad to do good, and
Right.
I was one of those people that I was
Mhm.
doing something that wasn't accepted, but I was doing something positive with it. I was helping people. I was, helping those that was unfortunate, those people that didn't have, that
Right.
get checks once a month and were starving for 2 or 3 weeks till they got. I couldn't see that,
Yeah.
so I put myself in that position to make sure that didn't happen.
Right.
Um, and I paid for it, but I was okay paying for something that I believed. I believed at the time I was doing the right thing, you know.
I
So
feel we're doing the right thing, Like I
yeah,
mean, like
yeah,
type say that, so to speak, but like like nah, it was definitely the right thing, especially like if you use that to do good, you know what I'm saying?
right,
Because like in the long run, you got to think of it like this: like there are some things like people, they do good things and then they become bad afterwards too.
right,
So, you
yeah,
know, that it can be vice versa, like vice versa. So like it doesn't even that's why I was saying like it shouldn't matter whether if people do this or that, as long as it's like they're doing something for good, that's all what matters basically.
yeah,
um
yeah,
but yeah, like I mean, shoot, man, like I think that'll be a great story, like that you're right. Like if you have like the right writers to contribute to that story too, you know
right,
what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
I think
definitely,
that's something that can come into fruition. Like it's definitely a subject matter that needs to be spoke on, like amongst like the masses that we have out there and such and whatnot.
yeah, and and,
Yeah,
and kind of like figure out how we can um bring this to life, in a film format,
correct.
where we can talk about this. Okay, this is
Mhm.
what happened. Let's talk about it. How can we make it become a film, um, and put it out there?
Right.
Because it's a lot to talk about, and like I said, our history and where we
Mhm.
come from, and why do we still carry these last names that ain't ours?
Right.
Um, I just so much that I've starting to learn, even like with my birth certificate and my social security card. Like that's all credit. Like if you look at the behind the scene of what that is, it's not what we think it is. And
Right.
I think that it's fraudulent from the government to do that. I think that it's wrong. I think that they um didn't tell our parents what they were
Mhm.
signing that certificate for.
Right.
And you know um and if you look behind your social security number and and your birth certificate, there's a number. There's a long digit number.
Oh
Look at
yeah.
that. Look into that number and look at and what that is. It's actually like an account.
Oh yeah. Like I'm aware of that. Like I know
Okay,
exactly what you're talking about.
so
Yeah.
so okay, so now if say for instance you go to court and they call you by your name, you say that's not my name, I'm John Doe. Well,
No,
yes, you are. I said no, I'm not, because first of all, you never explained to my parents what they were signing when you told them here's your son's birth certificate. You didn't
right.
explain what she was signing. She was signing you over to the government, basically what she was doing. They took
Exactly.
that, put a number on it, they put some money behind it. Now your birth certificate is being sold to these other bankers, and they're using that, and
That's
social media too.
similar to how you had the Nazi encampment and such.
Okay.
So instead of a number being like written on your your skin. Like you know, you have like you know, the number that's written in paper.
Right.
So it's like it's a lot of stuff I can go on topic about that. Like you know,
Yeah.
as far as people that's not gonna like exactly how I approach to say
Yeah.
certain things or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, like that's the thing. Like you know, people, you can't be too weak. Like and I don't want to necessarily say weak, but you gotta have like you know, some grit on your skin. You know, you gotta
Yeah.
have like some tough skin, and like you know, um whatever the truth is, that's just how the truth is going to be. You know, because the
Right.
truth, because I mean, we know that truths are lies and lies are truths, but that's the thing. Like the truth will always set you free, nonetheless. You know.
Exactly. And this is why I'm glad you said that. This is why I chose not to file taxes anymore. I'm done with them taking advantage of me. They've
Right.
been doing it for years. They've been doing it not just to me, to everyone.
Right.
I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm doing it because I believe that I shouldn't be paying taxes to nobody. No one should be going into my check, taking my hard-earned money to make themselves rich and do what they want. Who is
Well,
Uncle Sam? I never met Uncle Sam in my life. Who is he?
it's criminal.
You know, he shows up every payday to take from me and don't put nothing on my table. All he does is say, I'm done. I ain't filing no taxes, and I say it here live, and I say it anywhere. I'm standing my ground. If I'm gonna lose, y'all gonna lose too. Bottom line, you can do what you want. You can take my license. You can take it. You want to put me in jail? Go ahead, put me in jail. You know, you ain't
Right.
gonna put me somewhere I ain't never been. At the end of the day, you know, I'm gonna make a point. You know, you guys been lying to us. You have been taking from us. I'm tired of it, and I'm not doing it anymore. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm not doing it. You can do whatever you want. You know,
Right.
at this point in my life, I'm at the point where I just don't care about nothing that they do and nothing that they represent. You know, so I'm gonna stand my ground, and you know, and because at the end of the day, you know, what they give me back at the end of the year is nothing but what they taken. You know, 5 years they done taken $100,000. That's my life savings. So
Like in
I'm
return,
paying.
Trump changed basically what we get. You know. So,
That's just
but
for you, right?
yeah,
For you to keep your mouth shut because you
right.
got a little something back. And why do we file taxes? Why do we file taxes at the end of the year if they already took the money off the check? Why? Because you signed because you're giving them permission to
Uh,
take it.
yeah, but our taxpayers' money is being spent almost like every day going to like you know, certain places that I won't speak of, but like
Yeah.
you know, like it's kind of like how would I say, depreciating the value of the country that we're in right now. You know, so it's like a lot of people. This is what I would say. Like there's a huge divide and conquer like that's going on right now. Like clearly there's an agenda, but like I see it. I'm not blind or anything like that. But
Right.
oh, it's a lot of stuff that people can do, but
Yeah.
you know, like at the same time, it's a dangerous like amount of you know, danger that's in that particular game. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like hey man, like I pretty much like what you said is on point. Like I can't
Yeah.
say that you're lying because you're not. You know, so like
Exactly. So I stand for the truth, right?
mhm. Same here.
And
Yeah,
I'm willing to take anything that comes my way for the truth because I'm the son of God. You know what I'm saying? I don't live with lies and I don't stand on lies. I stand for the truth. And if I have to die in the cross like Jesus did for us because he believed in us, so I'm gonna
right.
stand my grounds. You know, this government ain't gonna do nothing to me that God is not gonna accept. You feel me? And if I
Yeah,
gotta die for my people to make a point, so be it.
yeah,
You know, I'm not here forever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna stand my grounds and I'm gonna live for the truth. And
yeah.
let the
It's like my father, you know, told me, like, you know, time is of the essence. So it's like, however, like, whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever it is that you want to do in life, like, you know, do it now. So
yes.
like, don't do it. Don't try to go on and put stuff off later. Don't say that like, oh, I want to go on to do this, I want to do that. Like, no, like, you know, forget all of that. Like, you know, do it now. It's like I chose to be a writer and director just due to the fact that like it was just something I wanted to do. I didn't want to work for people anymore, like being micromanaged behind my back. And
Yeah.
so like I took a risk, and I love the risk, like the risk is
Right.
great. So I definitely, and I am working for myself, so like and it's liberating. And then on top of that, like it just feels good overall, just to like work for yourself. Like I don't
Yeah.
like like working for anyone else anymore. Like even my father, like he was asking me like several years ago, like, hey man, like you wanna go and work with me? I was like, no. So like I think I'm good, man. you
Right,
know
right, right, right. Yeah, I
right.
get it. I get it.
But yeah,
But
no, like I'm not sure, like did my nephew, did he not pop up yet? Like he should
who's
be on.
that? This is someone else.
Lobo. Yeah, LVA Lobo. Like
No, Lobo hasn't popped up yet. I've been looking out for him.
okay. Hold on. Hold on. He said that it's not showing up, but
Oh,
like
here we go. He just popped up. Hold on, I got him.
okay.
Okay. Guys, please welcome El Lobo to the show. What's up, Lobo?
What's going on, brother? God bless you.
Likewise, likewise. What's good?
Everything's amazing, going great, brother. Just got off work and ready
Okay.
now to associate with you, communicate a little bit.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Man, I was here. I was born from Washington, D.C., raised over here in the United States, but my whole family, they're all from Dominican Republic. And,
Okay.
just as I was watching y'all talking, I like hearing how you talk, man. God bless you, brother, because just as you said, I'm someone that's just like that. I feel
Yeah.
like I have how could you say? I feel like in my family, I have to carry the mantle. I feel like in my family, I have to be the one to break the generational curse,
Yes.
to stand up and step up to the plate so that my
Amen.
nephews, my nieces, my little cousins, friends, brothers, everybody can unite together and say, I
Amen.
can do it too.
That's right. Word,
So,
word, word.
Man,
You know,
amen.
amen, amen.
we come from a strong background.
Yeah.
We our bloodlines are
All
very
three of us.
strong. Yes,
Yeah,
all three of us. All three of us. I'm talking about all three of us. Our
yeah,
bloodlines
most definitely.
are very, very
Right.
uh tough bloodlines, and we stand for what we believe in, and
Most definitely.
and I don't care what race you are, man. If you're about the truth, if you're about loyalty, man, you stand your ground. I respect you 100%. And
Amen. Thank
and we're three different brothers from three different cultures, but we stand for the same thing,
you. Yep.
right?
Yes, sir.
And for the truth. And you know, you being Dominican, I'm being Puerto Rican. Our bloodlines. Like
Mm.
we stand for what we say we stand, and that's it,
Yep,
right?
most definitely.
So my thing, is that I was saying to Terrell that I me personally, I'm talking about me. What I've been, because I'm older than both of you guys, right?
Mhm.
But I've seen so much more than you guys from the '80s, from the early '70s to now, and the transition that I've seen with different cultures, Dominicans, blacks, Puerto Ricans, Haitians. It's been hard for us, right?
Yeah.
And we've
Yeah.
been taken as fools, and we've been taken advantage of. And I'm to the point now where I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the abuse, and I'm gonna stand my ground. I don't
Same.
file taxes. I don't care about it. I don't care
Same.
what they do with me at this point in my life. I'm 54. You know what I'm saying? So
God
I
bless,
don't
bro.
care. I'm where I don't care no more. But I'm gonna stand my ground because I the abuse it's been too much.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and I'm done with it. So I'm not saying for you to do it, for Tirrel to do it, you do your own thing. But for me, that's what I'm gonna stand on. I'm not letting these people take advantage of me anymore. I know they got the power, they can do what they want, but I'm okay with that
Most
because
definitely.
I'm at the point in my life where I want to be free.
Mhm.
I don't want no attachment to those people. So
For sure.
I start with not doing no taxes. Nothing that has to do with those people, I'm gonna do. I don't care because we was born to be free. right? And I
Yep.
never, once I've got to the age when I've learned about what these people were, what they're doing, I've never felt free, right? I felt like I got to get up every day, I got to go work, right? I got to go work. So I'm slaving myself by going
Mhm.
to work to give my money to these people, right? And if I don't get up and go to work, you know, I don't eat. I can't pay my rent. I can't do that. So, but the eating and rent is fine. You know, I don't mind paying for that. But the other stuff, like paying the IRS for what? Paying the state for
Yeah,
what?
no,
Paying the like, what are you doing for me that I have to pay you guys for your services? Nothing.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just my opinion. That's just me. You know what I
It's like
mean?
you touched
But
on that. When you touched on that, it's like what JFK said. Like what could you do for me? What like dang, I forget what that it wasn't a phrase. Like it was a speech. What is it that your country can do for you? Like vice versa. I can't remember the entire speech, but it's like, you know, our country, they should be asking like what can they do for us, basically, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it shouldn't be like reverse, like where it's a delay. Hey, like yeah, you do have to pay for taxes, like you got to do this, you got to do that, or whatever. So it just seems as though the like everything is just sort of kind of going backwards, so to speak.
Yeah.
And like it's like what we spoke on earlier about desensitization and stuff like that. It's like certain people, they're just kind of buying it, and it's like you
Yeah.
don't have to buy that, you don't have to like give in to most of that. And this country is made established based on freedom. So if it's established based on freedom, so like everyone, they should be able to go in and have free will to like whatever it is that they want to do, so to speak, right? So it's like
Right.
that's just how I look on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, of course, like the good stuff, I'm not talking about like the negative shit or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, like whatever it is that you do that's good, then it should be good. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I totally hear you on that, man. So
Yeah. So Lobo, so you're an artist.
yes.
You
So
tell us a little bit about.
honestly, I'm a little versatile. You know, I wouldn't say I have like a genre that I'm stuck to or that I specifically like. I like everything.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
literally, if you put on a country beat, I might freestyle to that.
That's good. I
he
like that.
really
I
too.
like that. I like
And
Yeah,
that.
brother.
anytime that we're in the car together and I put on like just a random tune. It can be like like old hip hop beat. It can be like maybe even something that I made like
Boom
like from
baps.
something like that. This man is on fire. Like
Appreciate
like
it, bro.
crazy how his mind works. It's like, bro, I know that I write my material and do a little freestyling or whatever, just a little bit, but that's not me. But him, it's like as soon as you turn on something, like he,
Mhm.
I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's because he's bilingual, like you know what I'm
Well,
saying.
people know because a lot of us are
But
gifted like that. You
Yeah.
know, just like some are gifted to be directors, some are gifted to be actors. You know,
Mhm.
there's a lot of rappers that rap that gotta write their lyrics.
Most
Little,
definitely.
Little Wayne don't write lyrics.
yeah,
He don't write lyrics. He just go in there and do his thing. Just
Mhm.
like
Jay-Z from
Cocuela, he goes in there,
Yeah,
freestyle.
Cocuela, yeah.
He don't
Mhm.
write anything.
Yeah.
So th- a lot of us are built different. So he's gifted that way, where he don't have to write anything.
right.
He can just come off the head. And if he wants to sharpen it up, then he'll go over it and might write it over
Mhm.
where it can be sharper. You
So that's
know,
why, see, with me, I believe fully in that. You know, there's a lot of people who they will say that, oh, I do it like this, I do it like that. I believe that nobody ever knows too much and you never stop learning. So
right?
literally as an artist, if you know you can freestyle like that, what's gonna hurt? It's not gonna hurt to revise and edit.
That's
You
right.
know, I believe in that fully. So once you freestyle and you know that's the song you're gonna record, I always skim through my words real quick. Oh, that could be touched up right there. Oh, that didn't
Yeah,
fit right there. You know, that could be shortened right there so that the bars could fit. I like to really go back, man, and work on my craft. Even if I did it in an hour, even if it was in 10 minutes, even if it was in 10 months, I love to work on my craft.
Right. And especially if that's what you do and you want to put it out, you want to put out your best work.
Yeah, most definitely.
So, I do music too, right? I write. My son, one of my son freestyle. My other son, he's a great writer. He can really, I got a label called R&L Records. And yeah. So, I don't do it anymore, because I'm into the acting film now and do my podcast and stuff. So I don't do music anymore. But when I sit back and I look at my sons and stuff, how different they are as artists, right? One can come with stuff, a tune like this, and he'll make a song in 10 minutes.
See?
My other son would sit back, it'll take him an hour or two, might take him a week, because he's more, he
likes to get more in depth with his content.
Yeah, in depth with his content. He wants to make sure that his shit is right.
That's what's up, man. It only right.
Right. And when I write, I write and then I might freestyle a little bit and then I add something else to it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's like I write and I freestyle. So
that's how you gotta do it.
Right. Real, so it's different, but at the end of the day, we put out the music, and we enjoy it, and it's fun because music to us, because it's our culture, it's what makes us happy. When I'm down and out, man, I can listen to some bachata, I can listen to some merengue, some reggaeton, and it'll brighten me, or some hip hop, and it'll bring me back to point, and
most definitely.
And if you look, right, of all cultures, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Black African Americans, Indians, we all have our own culture, with our own swag, right?
Yeah.
Versus the Caucasians don't have that. They didn't come with this. They don't got their own dance.
No.
They don't got their own dance. If you see, listen, and I ain't trying to get out of anything. I ain't trying to get out of anything. But I like to speak the truth, right? Everything that a lot of Caucasians do, they do off what we do.
Yeah,
and if you look at it now, if you look at their swag, it's not theirs, it's our swag. Black African Americans and Latino swag. It seems like they came in here with no swag, no type of nothing, and everything they picked up and learned from us. So, and I heard this white guy say that today. He said, Caucasian people don't have anything. All they brought here was war, fight, murder, and this and that, but they don't have like what other cultures have, or they believe in other beliefs that other cultures have.
They don't got that extra. How they say in Spanish? No tienen el sazón.
What's their dance?
Yeah.
What kind of dance did like? We're the creators.
Yeah, honestly,
we're the creators.
The waltz.
So and not trying to bash them because I love them. I got a lot of friends that Caucasians, they're great people, but going back to history, to what we was talking about earlier, that taking from other people to create an empire like the Romans were doing, it's not fair to others. You know what I mean? And we suffered enough. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the history of Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, we fought the war, man. We fought American war, and Puerto Ricans. There were 12 Puerto Ricans that fought the American war, that brought the Americans to places where they couldn't even get to, and they sent those 12 Puerto Ricans, and they got them through though. They got them through, and they don't talk about that in history. They don't. They don't talk about that in history. They don't talk about how many Dominicans fought in that war and did. You know what I'm saying? Or African Americans. All we hear is Caucasian people did this, they did that. No, where's our credit? So, I look at all that and and um and it makes me feel a certain way. You know, this is why I now knowing what they're doing to us the people, including themselves too, because they do it to them people. See, these people that are in power don't care about nobody. They don't even care about their own people. Um, so I stand my ground. I said I'm not filing no taxes, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are doing the same thing I'm doing. They're not filing taxes because they're standing on their grounds.
It's
Mhm.
almost like how a lot of students are not like what is that, paying their student debt. Like that's
Yeah,
what
they not. They let
it's,
another one.
How you going to go to college and pay $200,000 to go to college to learn what? To learn what? I know college students right now with degrees that are working at McDonald's as managers.
Uh-huh.
All right, so
On the franchises.
I'm glad that my student loan was wiped out because
okay, so
the college that I went to, like it was fraudulent anyway. So it's like,
look at
I mean,
that.
I'm glad that I got what I have. I'm glad that I got what I have, but at the same
Mm.
time, like dang, they closed all of these schools across the country, and it's like, wow, like that's crazy.
Yeah, they're close, but they want to leave you with the debt.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You feel me? They want you to pay that loan back,
Uh-huh.
and it's crazy. This is all a game, but these are things we talk about and we can put in film. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And just to show the world what's really going on behind the scene, and I'm a big believer on the truth, man. I like to talk the truth and bring the truth to light, just like that movie. What was that movie with the that they didn't want to come out? The trafficking movie. I forgot what it's called. Man,
Um,
uh,
dang, uh,
Mel Gibson was helped do that. But damn,
oh, I know what you're talking about. It had Jim Caviezel in it.
yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking
they
about.
didn't
But
want that film to come out
no, they didn't. And it was
because yeah, he was exposing what was really going on.
right. Yeah, what
But
needs to those are the types of films that we need, honestly, and it's like, you know, there's a reason why they're like how could I say? Mainstream. I'm just going to say MSM basically,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
How it's like they're just kind of pushing for it to not happen, or how they were pushing for it to not happen, or anything like that. And those are the exact, films that need to come to light. It's the stories, so because I mean, it's a lot of stuff like that I've read that's not even good, like,
right.
and I mean, there's even some things that happen, and like there are things that do actually happen in those particular countries. But I'll go on to say this too, like something that it just came to mind. I think we lost my nephew. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
he's
yeah, he'll probably pop
yeah.
back in. I'll bring him back in.
But yeah, but anyways, like it kind of like made me think, like, and this was like recent. It was like, dang, like I'm not too far from Baltimore, but like when you go into that area, like the Baltimore area, it's like, yeah, you got the airplane, you have the port that's over there because you
Yeah,
have the harbor, inner city harbor, and then of course, like, you have like just general transportation, so
yeah,
it's like, dang, you got all three of those spots that's like right there, like literally like right there in the heart of Baltimore. It's like there's got to be some type of trafficking or something that's like that, and people don't really talk on things. Now there is this one producer and director that I do know. Like, she actually worked on she produced the first film that I did. Well, not the first film, but the second film that I did, Split. Her name is Cherie McCain. Like, I'm not sure, you might have heard her before, but
uh,
like she actually made a film based on that subject matter. Like,
mm,
it's in the film, but it's like, no, this film, it should be out there, like where a lot of people, they can be aware that like certain things like that happen. And like I said before, like those are the types of things like that could possibly happen in that particular location. It's just something that I think of, and it's like, damn, like they could, like, you know, just criminals, they can easily get away with shit like that, like with
Yeah,
just 3 areas or whatnot. And
right.
it's
But
you
see,
know,
because it's so true, these are films that these big companies don't want to be exposed of the truth.
right.
I seen this thing in Los Angeles in Vegas where this lady went to her room, right?
Uh-huh.
She went to her room and she opened the closet. And when she opened the closet, she stepped in. And when she stepped in, the floor was loose, right? And she was like, "What
Mm.
the hell is this?" And she dug under the rug. And when she opened, it was a panel, it was a door.
Oh
She
shit.
opened it and they went in. It was a damn tunnel under in the hotel leading to other tunnels. That's how they were kidnapping people from hotels, and nobody could see them on cameras because they was in the hole was inside
Inside the
the inside the room, and they were kidnapping probably people while they was asleep. They were creeping in there, tying them up, and taking them through there, you know.
Mhm.
And depending on who went in that room, so that means that the people that worked there knew,
They
or
had to.
some knew that was there. And
Right.
say if a family of just women were in that room, you know what I mean? Then they
Yeah,
say,
no,
okay, let's take a chance because there's no guy in that room. They're all girls.
right.
Let's see if we can take one of these people. You know, so and not just there, but you know, they found that in that hotel. They found several hotels around the world that had these type of passageways in their hotels.
Right.
Why are they not talking about this, and why is not one being kept accountable, or you know, for these things? And where are they taking them to? Why do you have a tunnel connected to your hotel room going down
Mhm.
tunnels and connecting to other tunnels? And they were saying that this was miles and miles and miles down. So that means that other hotels were also connected to that tunnel.
Or it could have been, well, I mean, it's not even an or. Like I want to say that like you know, certain organizations
Yes,
active today, they clearly know, but it's almost like you know, going with the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, right?
exactly.
Like of course, you know, the media, they put out that Jeffrey, well, no, not, well, of course the subject matter surrounds him, but of course the FBI,
Yeah.
of course they started to like search him, but it's like they knew about this guy like decades ago, you know.
It's
So
all
it's like,
connected.
you know, why didn't they do anything then? And it just makes me think that like, you know, maybe they kind of have their hands in it.
Of course they
You
do. This is
know?
big business. We talking about billions and billions of dollars of trafficking children. You know what a child is worth? Worth more than you and I probably put together, right? And this
Yeah,
is big business. So these people are all connected, and the people that are controlling everything, you know, are the ones that you know have these people on payroll. You know,
yeah.
and the good
It,
thing,
it's a web of like you know, of these criminals, and it's like I said, I'm not even going to say the name, but we already know what that organization is that have connections with that case or whatever, right? But
right?
it's more than that. Like you know, it goes within like the police precinct. It goes like
Yeah,
you know, the whole entire criminal justice system. I think,
yeah.
you know, it's like this, right? Like one of my vehicles, they got you know, broken into. This was back in 2020. Like even like my current vehicle, like someone broke into that one, and like you know, they stole the airbag out of it. And it's like, you know, first and foremost, why the fuck would they go ahead, excuse me, why would they go ahead and steal my airbag or whatever, right? But of course, like you know, get what is that, like I get like a police report conducted the first time back in 2020, right? From a 2013 Civic. I'm a huge Civic enthusiast, by the way. Just to let you know,
Yeah,
right now I got like a 2020 Civic Sport, so like that just lets you
nice.
know. You know how much a Honda enthusiast I am, and well, Civic enthusiast. But anyways, no, it's like you know what they do. From what the police officer was telling me, is that like, oh yeah, like you know, they steal the airbags and then they sell them to the black market or like you know, to all these other places. And it's like, you know, but how do they do it so quickly? And it just makes me think that like, you know, maybe they got like an insider inside, like you know, you know what I'm saying, like inside the department or something like that. That's what it makes me think that, you know. So like it just makes me think that like, yeah, like clearly there might be other criminals that's involved with other types of shit that's like way bigger than that, like you know, within the Justice Department system, you know. So it's like,
of course, you know, they're all criminals. You know,
right,
they're criminals wearing a badge and a suit to commit crimes. They just don't talk about it. But you know, we smart ones know what's going on. You know, and these are the stories that we need to write about. You know, and bring to and bring light to the newer generation that's coming up that don't understand what's going on and how the system works.
Because it's a lot of nonsense that's all over social media that's saturated, so to speak, you know, like saturated with nonsense. So, I mean, but simultaneously, I will going to say this, like, you know, I mean, social media, I'm not going to hate on it, like overall. I mean, clearly I don't hate on it because, like, you know, clearly we have social media accounts or whatever. But it's a double-edged sword, you know? So it's a lot of good things that you can learn from it. It's a lot of bad and unnecessarily terrible things that you can, like, you know, find on the internet or whatever, right? But nonetheless, like, you know, if you find the right subject matter, it's an educational tool. So it's like, first time I found out that YouTube was an educational tool, this is the time when I was a naturalist, right? You know, one of my coworkers at the time, like Megan Vicino, like God bless her. Basically, you know, she was even telling me that like, oh, you know that praying mantis, they eat snakes and mice, right? And I was like, the heck are you talking about? Like, so she showed me a video on YouTube, like, you know, like basically describing everything what she was saying. I was like, well, wait a second. So YouTube is not a place just for like music or like you know, for funny memes and all this. This is like way back in the day, basically. This is like 2007, 2008, that period or whatever. So it really made me think. It's like, oh, so like I can learn anything on YouTube, like you know, as long as the stuff that I want to learn is good, which I did. So like even learning things such as like you know, sound engineering, like you know, cleaning up, because although I study in media arts and animation, like, and I had to, you know, learn about Adobe Express and you know, all of these you know, computer concepts and all that type of stuff, I actually learned Adobe Audition myself, like you know, and I learned most of it all from YouTube. So like the whole cleaning up process, getting rid of like you know, the hiss noise, all this other type of stuff, reverb, like anything that I need to know about, like you know, sound engineering and sound mastering, like I learned all of that stuff on YouTube.
I mean, it has its good things, you know, like you said, and its bad things. But you know, us as creators, you know, and you know, directors and stuff like that, you know, for me, I like to pick subjects or content that catches the eye,
right?
You know, and it takes time because
like, that you're attracted to,
you know, and to bring stuff up, you know, like I seen an article one time from Chicago that they were finding bodies, right? They were finding bodies in alleyways, right? They were finding bodies in alleyways. But the thing, the catch to it was they were missing organs, right? Okay.
Almost like that incident with that kid that was rolled up inside the mat, like you know, for some reason, like his organs were missing from that. And it's like, I hear you. But
now, the key to this was that who in their mind is going to kill a body and take an organ? And not just that, but the incision, the cut
Yeah.
was cut perfectly. So, what does that tell you?
That it had to be someone that was a professional that knew exactly what they wanted to get and like how to do it, like, you know, in the fast procedure as well. So,
Right. And why are they going to our neighborhoods to do that?
oh, like I mean, I know I can't explain it per se,
You see?
but I know exactly what you're saying though. It's because like, you know, it's something special about us, but at the same time, it's like you know, they want something that we have, but simultaneously they want to go ahead and, you know, control us, so to speak, as well. Like you know, keep us at a lower vibration, so to speak. But
Right.
it's like you know that it's exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. This is the reason why we have to put out like you know, certain films and like you know,
Yeah.
that topics
Yeah.
because you know that there's so much that like you know, so many can learn, like not even going to that aspect but even
Yeah.
going to like you know, the spiritual aspect of things,
Yeah.
which I
Which,
kind of
yeah.
loosely talk about in side split too,
Mm-hmm.
that but it's really really subtle. Like you really do have to kind of like you know, research like who this particular villain is. Like you know, for instance,
Yeah.
like John's character, like you know,
Yeah.
he's very important. Like in some books that you know, some people deny that it's true or whatever. So, for instance, like the Book of Enoch, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just going to that aspect of that particular character. It's like, yeah, like it would be great, like if people would know about these people, like, well, not these, but these beings, so to speak, right?
Right.
Um, so it's like, no, I'm not really like going too deep in it, but I'm going deep enough where people they can kind of get an idea and sort of like, you know, research who these particular characters, or not characters, but like who these beings were before us, you know?
Right. And kind of have like their own opinion on it.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
You know.
So yeah, so I get it. So these are things that um are important for us as directors and minorities to
Right.
bring to light, because if it's up to them, they won't bring these things up. They won't talk about it.
No, they won't.
They'll keep it in the dark. So it's up to us to do so. And this is why sometimes it's hard to get a movie like that into a festival or into a theater, because it has to go through them first. And if they
That,
don't okay it, if they feel
which
it's a threat.
something that just came to mind as well. Like, which is my opinion, which is one of the reasons why they create so many remakes. You know what I'm saying? Because there's like I said, there's a lot of stories that people can tell, but it's like, of course, it's like what you said. You have to kind of pitch it to them first, and
Mm-hmm.
they have to acknowledge that. And 9 times out of 10, sometimes they're probably just going to dump it inside the trash can, put it on the shelf or whatever, not even talk about it. And like, you know, that's just how it is. But it's like going back to what Mel Gibson is doing, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
even these are like that film that we were talking about, Angel Studios. I think that's the production company, if I'm not mistaken. Angel Studios, like you know, they're doing a great thing. Where so they're putting out these films that need to be told, and even not even just like selling the tickets, but sometimes they're even giving away the tickets for free too. You
Right.
know,
Because it's
uh,
the story that they want the people to understand that this is happening.
right? Absolutely, yeah, it is happening. Like
It's
it's like
happening.
we're talking about even like the this. It's a. I'll just want to narrow it to this, right? It's a spiritual battle. That's all what it is.
Yes.
You
It's a
know,
spiritual battle. Yeah. Yeah.
that's exactly what it is, basically.
Right.
You know,
100%. I agree to that. I I so before we go out, tell me what's next in your agenda. What's next for you?
well, like afterwards, after this film Split too, as I stated earlier, I think I want to work on a coming of age film, which I'm sort of starting like you know, doing a rough draft at the moment. Then of course there's going to be a web series for Split. Then hopefully like we're going to make a sequel to that, kind of like bring everything together and like kind of close it off, because there's a lot of things that I want to discuss, you know, maybe possibly in the web series or the you know, the following sequel after this one, that's not even discussed inside you know, the current project that I'm currently making at the moment, you know.
Right.
But of course, like you know, music videos. So for instance, like my nephew here, like you know, we're going to go on to start shooting some videos pretty soon, like especially over at the DR. Like love it over there. I can't wait until I go back. I haven't been over there.
Yeah, he got it. He got his nice spots, I tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you know, that's another thing what I intend to do, like invest in property pretty soon over there, like, you know, specifically for Kudor Entertainment. So like you know, just to kind of collaborate with some of the filmmakers that we know over there, such as my boy Kooky, like, you know, Lobo, like you know, that's our buddy that's over there, as well as like you know, some other folks that we know over there that can kind of get into the acting game. So I want to go international with my stuff. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's funny that when you go to these, like we call, you know, third world countries, right?
Right.
You feel free. It's
very hey, like it's one of the reasons why I ain't gonna lie, I'm trying to get out of here.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? And it's funny to say, but it's like you feel like you can do anything. And you're not gonna be judged. You ain't got the police chasing you. Ain't got, you know, you feel free, you know. But when you come to these big cities, man, it feels like you're in a sardine can where you gotta watch, right? You go to DR, bro. You go to DR. I ain't been there yet, but my boys be going and they be like, man, you gotta come out here, boy. If you do anything, it's free. Same thing in Puerto Rico. You can do whatever. It's a little bit more stricter than DR. Just we're more Americanized, like because we're part of the U.S. But it's kind of similar. But DR, it's like, you know, it feels like you're free. Like you can
most definitely.
You can do so much.
Yeah, the energy is definitely different. Like you know, the energy, it feels high. It's a higher vibration.
Yeah.
Like anytime that I come back, it's like, oh dang, here we go again. You know,
so
it's
back,
like
back to the basics, right?
Right. And like you know, the people over there, they're very happy. It's like
always
they don't, like, they're just carefree about like a lot of things, and that's what I love about it. So it's like, regardless, like if the bad things, like, you know, we get some Presidente, we drink some Brugal and shit like that.
And you see the difference. It could be the poorest person in DR and it's more happier than the one that's out here that got $1 billion.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So we are people. Man. We are people. We are joyful people, man. Latinos and Africans. Our culture is, you know, you go to Africa, you got people that live in huts, and some, they're happy. Yeah. You know, they're happy. They look out the window, they see a lion walk by or a cheetah. You know, we don't see that here, but you know, they're happy.
Right. It's like what's her face? Dang. Not Kiki Palmer. My gosh, like the singer saying, I keep forgetting her name. Like Keyless. So it's like right now she be like posting up on her stories, like she's in Africa. She be talking about Kenya, like all these other countries visit, and it's like she has like this different vibe about it. It's like she's more vibrant, like you can see the glow on her face, and I mean, like it's crazy, man. So it's like for me, it's one of the reasons why I definitely want to like venture out from here and invest you know, what I bring back from my films as far as you know, cash flow, whatever, right? And just establish my business over there for like you know, Kudor Entertainment. I kind of want to make that like the main place where if anyone wants to conduct like music videos, or if they want to like you know, have a particular writing, like you know, as far as like you know, films and such, like a story, like you know, I think that's something that I definitely want to bring to the table, you know. Where so that like at the same time you kind of like relax or whatever, like you know, you don't have to worry about whatever, you know, just bringing like a whole different vibe to the table. Like I think it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful. It's a beautiful
Real,
film.
you know that even then, the topic that I would like to discuss about DR and the film industry.
Yeah,
Right now, at this point, there has not been one film release in DR. And we're in May of 2024.
yeah.
Man, after the pandemic, I don't know what happened, but they shut down the Hollywood they was gonna make over there. They literally called it the Dominican Hollywood. But for some reason, after the pandemic, those plans got canceled. So our
Yeah,
man Cookie, we've been
And
talking to him about that.
y-
Uh, Tirrel, he mentioned to you earlier back in the prior first film, he did a casting call. We've been having, a few discussions about. We've been pre-planning to see
mhm,
if close in the future we can try to get the youth and DR more involved in our projects, like
that's good.
heavily,
That's
heavily,
good.
man.
That's
Because
good.
when I was over there seeing the kids on the floor playing with mud and dirt and sand, I'm like, man, them the same youngins that even though they don't want to, 2-3 weeks, they probably picking up a gun.
Yeah,
And if they're not
quick.
doing that, they listening to some bad advice from a friend that don't know no better, just because he ain't got no guidance. So then they both fucking up. And
Yeah,
that's where I'm just trying to see if what we do, even though we can't change the world, we can't change the art, but what we trying to incorporate into the activities and anything that the kids could do, recreational
yes,
yes.
activity, I know
Mhm.
it's gonna help, man.
yeah.
So
Because DR started to really make a lot of noise when Fast and the Furious was filmed in DR.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
what opened the door for me as far as filming.
yeah,
That
yeah,
opened it up for
it really
DR.
did.
And I thought that DR was. I was like, shit. DR's about to come up with the filming
Yeah,
industry, and then like you said, after the pandemic, it's just shut down. Everything was quiet. Um,
literally.
and like I don't know anyone in DR that has a filming uh uh production that's shooting anything in DR.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly. See,
besides Fast and the Furious. Um,
now, I'll tell you something because even me, I'm an entrepreneur. Right now, I'm wearing one of my T-shirts from my brand, Live Viva.
Live
When I
Viva.
went out to Dominican Republic, I registered this brand out there. I got another little shirt right here to show you. Live Viva. Vivil in Spanish, Vivil. So I took
Viva.
the IR from Vivil and just left it with an A. So it's still Vivil, but it's just
Yeah,
Viva.
Viva. Yeah,
Yeah. And we
yeah.
got the
Live Viva.
electric boat because that means to electrify and power yourself. We got to live every day. It don't
That's
matter
right.
how we feeling when we get out that bed. We got to live.
That's
So
right.
really, man, for sure,
I
brother.
like
So
that. That's good. I like
appreciate it.
that
Appreciate
concept.
it.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
That's good
Thank you.
thinking.
Appreciate
That's
it,
good
bro.
creating. But
Most
this is
definitely.
the talent that we have that we know that we bring to the table. And I always said, man, we are creators. You know,
Literally.
and and the only reason that we're not bigger than what we are is because we don't have the cash flow that these people have. See, when back in them days, in the early them days, 50s and 60s, they didn't have the ideas. We had the ideas, but
Most
because they
definitely.
had the money, they ran with our ideas, you know, and they
Yeah.
became rich, and we just became the slaves to it, you
Yep.
know. But if we had that money, we'll be on top right
Right.
now, because we are the creators. You know, if you really look at history, a lot of the stuff that they say they created, they didn't create.
Yeah.
They made us
I'll tell
think
you
they
something.
created.
'Cause I'm younger than y'all. Look, I'll tell you something, dog. I'm younger than y'all, and the social right now has gotten to a point where a lot of youngins, a lot of the youth, they're catching on to back in the
Yes,
day
yes,
history due to the social. And I've been seeing now a lot of them posts where they say, "Oh, this was created by our black folk. This was created by such and such black folk." And I be getting so excited and proud when I see that because it's like, yeah, put that out there. Tell
yeah.
them what it is. Tell them what really happened.
Right, because I was
Most
telling Terrell
definitely.
before you came in, right?
Mhm.
Right, Lobo, before you came
Yeah,
in, that
definitely.
I'm at the age of 54, right? I was everything I learned to school was all bullshit.
Yeah,
Not and the reason why I know is because of social media now. Now I start to see, you
Yeah.
know,
You see the
now I
picture.
start to see the truth.
yeah,
Some of it might not be true, some of it no, but some of it's catchy. But I do my research, and I feel like I'm being reborn again at
literally.
Yeah.
at 54 to
Wow.
learn the truth about my ancestors and my history, you know, and it's sad because all this time I believe what they were telling me and putting in these textbooks and teaching me in these books, you know, that I was reading history. It was all lies. How, like Tirrel said, Christopher Columbus came to Christopher Columbus didn't in he didn't what I'm looking for. He didn't find America. There was people. How can you find something where there's people already living
People
in it?
already here.
You feel me? So
Yeah.
that was a lie, you know, and some other lies that came behind that. So now that I'm older, I'm 54, and I'm listening to, you know, even young brothers like you that are really into history, that are talking and bringing these things to life. You know, I'm like, wow, I feel like a little kid learning history all over again.
You know, it's crazy hearing it coming from you because, like we saying, you know, y'all are way older than me, and me seeing these posts that I see now, just like when you see them, I feel like that. Like I'm like, wait, hold on. So my social studies class, my history class back 2009, that was all crap. Like,
Right.
wow, it's like a whole
See,
refreshment now. Like I'm reading books over, but it's through visual, it's through Instagram, through a Facebook.
right.
And then even
Anything.
Facebook,
Yeah.
more on that. If y'all notice, they have more in-depth posts speaking on history and stuff out of the random, and they'll speak about something that nobody had absolutely no knowledge of, but it's there.
Yeah.
Like, then the fact checkers come, and you already know.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff history come from Egypt. Egypt got a big history, got a lot to do with America, Egypt, Africa. You know, and
Don, I was gonna say, have y'all heard about? I read the other day. I saw like a picture of a map. It said It said the many pyramids spread out around the United States and the cave system too that's hidden by the United States. And I was like, wow. So it's like the stuff that needs to be spread, the stuff that needs to be told, like you mentioned earlier. They literally don't want not even a grain to slip out.
they
But
don't
it's
want it
like,
to know.
wow, it's like at the end of the day, now you got the Z generation waking up. So now when it's all of us waking up like this, at the end of the day,
They don't
why do
like
they
that.
still consider to do this?
They don't want us. So like if you go to Rome and you look at the back in the days, you see them doors, those big giant doors. You be like, who the fuck was that big? Why are they making doors that big? Because there were giants here at one point. There were giants. You know, and I don't know if it was in Egypt or one town, some guy was digging and he found a big giant skull, and they started digging it and they found a whole big giant.
Too.
I know what you're talking about, but it's in Smithsonian at the moment. Like it's quote unquote in the Smithsonian, but they won't say anything about it. But those are speculations, rumors, or whatever. Like you know.
But even look at the tree stumps, the big tree stumps.
Yeah.
You see how they got like the trees, they seem like they got chopped down a long time ago, and you just got the big huge stumps over there in Russia and Switzerland and all of that. Yeah. It's like there's nothing they could hide. I know y'all seen even rocks that look like it's a mini island and look like a full elephant.
Yeah.
Like literally, it got the trunk and got the two holes on the side. It's just out of stone.
Right.
So it's like it's a lot of mysteries, it's a lot of things. I feel like nothing is a conspiracy. Because I feel like just how they say the tongue is the worst weapon, I feel like anything can be manifested. So that's why I even tell friends, I tell, you know, females, anybody, I try to tell them, you know, be careful with your tongue because literally we never know. We never know what could be brought up out of a thought, out of a word. Literally, you will create magic just by speaking something into existence. That's why I always just push it towards the positive light. I never try to sell a nag or say something of a negative because I know later on it's gonna mess me up. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It always happens. That's why I just tell people, man, grab a hold of God and just
amen. God is the way out, man.
Amen. Amen.
God is the way out, and you know, I follow God. I don't go to church. I'm telling you the truth. I don't go to church, right? I don't read the Bible. I got my own understanding, and he's Dominican, so he know how we are. I got my own understanding with him, you know, and I talk to him and I pray, you know, me and him got my own understandings. I don't need church to talk to God. I don't need the Bible to talk. I don't need the Bible to talk to God. I talk to him directly. Now, why don't I read the Bible? And I got a Bible right there. and this is just me. I don't read the Bible because the Bible has been touched so many times from so many different people, so I don't know what to believe.
Exactly.
Thank you,
Like,
Yeah,
Tam.
man.
the only thing I believe is what God puts in my heart and what He put in my mind and the conversations
Mhm.
that we and Him have. That's what I believe in, and that's what I trust. I can read the Bible, okay, and I'm not saying that what's in it, it's not true. I just don't read it because it's been touched so many times and changed. There's been pages that have been missing in the Bible. Why
Mhm.
are there pages missing in the Bible? What is it that you don't want us to know?
So
And
you see what you just mentioned right there? A
yeah,
person that's very religious, the first thing that they will do is try to combat or cause a conflict or confrontation because you said it like that. But it's the truth. At the end of the day, it's like I told my folks, you can't deny the fact that pages are missing. So if a page is missing, what justifies that it's missing? What tells you that we should read this and should be on this if you it's obvious to the eye that something's been taken out? I'm not reading something that's written from another man or
right.
following that way, because then I might lose myself trying to listen to a man created words and scriptures and phrases, trying to think that I'm no. So that's like what you just mentioned, brother. That's why
Yeah,
whether I'm in the dark, whether I'm at work, whether I'm in the shower, whether I'm eating, it don't matter what I'm doing. I like to talk to my father.
yeah,
Because it's like you said, the best thing that we could do is have a strong relationship connected with him. I don't believe
directly.
in that a book will get me there. I don't believe that somebody preaching will get me there. But I will tell you something. I highly respect everyone who goes to church. I highly respect everyone who reads the Bible. I love it. But not everyone will have the same belief.
Right.
At the end of
It,
the day,
it,
people want to follow something. I feel like folks like me, you, even Tirrel is just like that. We're more such of we like to lead and want others to lead as well.
right.
Because some people get it confused. They will hear you say you a leader, but then they will think that you want to lead them. No, we want all of us to be in the front line. All
That's
of us
right.
are stars on this team.
That's right. Yeah, I want everybody to win, right?
Amen.
But like I said, and you're right. A lot of people might not say what I like, but that's okay because that's my opinion. Everybody have the right to their opinion, right?
Mhm.
And I'm
Right.
not saying that they shouldn't read the Bible. If that's what they want, they can read it. That's fine.
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
them. But for
Fair enough.
me, I just feel that we've been lied to since day one. So why should
Mhm.
I believe something that was written by man, right?
Mhm. Exactly.
I believe what I feel in my heart and the energy that I feel, you know, and what he puts in my head. That's what I believe and feel,
No
and
doubt.
that's the connection that I have with him.
No
Um,
doubt.
so people can say what they want and people can do what they want. This is just my opinion. That's just the way I do things, and it works for me. I got a good understanding with him, and we
And
talk.
Don,
Mhm.
to rephrase real quick, because me as an artist, I have to clarify when I'm talking.
Right,
When I say that about the Bible, I still read it. I
right.
read it, and every now and then I'll still visit church. But that's where, like I told you, that's where I tell my people though, don't get too entitled to commit yourself to something you don't know fully about. Use it as a guide. Don't
Hmm.
use it as this is what I have to do. That's
Right.
people's problem, I feel like nowadays.
Yeah.
They don't even know at the end of the day that church that they're going to, who they really worshiping. Because that's my problem with churches.
Right.
Like I've been to churches since a kid, going to churches. When I was younger, I was asking myself, I'm like, wait, the pastor know he wasn't specifically supposed to say that like that. Why did he say that like that? He felt
Right.
comfortable doing it too. Nah, you wrong. So
Yeah.
when I seen that as a kid growing up, I would see it at other churches too.
Me
And
too.
even then, that feeling of greed, and then when it comes to the dollar, the money,
Yeah.
and so it's like we
Yeah.
talking like it's like we saying right now, people can't just follow or indulge into anything because they think it will bring them a sense of calmness with the Lord. No, sit down and talk to him and find yourself with him because
Yeah.
he's always
Exactly.
right next to us. He with us right
That's right.
now behind all of our shoulders as we
Yeah.
talk.
That's
Most
right. Amen
definitely.
to that. Yeah.
And brother,
So
it's like I said, I'm only 27 years old. But
yeah.
you see the way I talk, the way I
Yeah.
speak, because I'm a
Hmm.
person who I really like to sit down, and like really get in depth with what I'm trying to learn. I like to every day gain some type of knowledge. I'll tell you right now, Don, like you see, I got my brand, but
Yeah.
right now I'm thinking about starting up an LLC for logistics and hauling company. You know, I got a lot of plans out DR. I got a store right now that's also called Live Viva Boutique. We
That's
are
good.
getting ready to open it. And you know what I love out of everything, Don, is that everything I'm doing is literally to help my family and help others. I'm not
That,
thinking about me.
that's right, and that's when you know, and that's when you do succeed, when you put yourself last, you put other
Most
people
definitely.
first, you know,
Exactly.
and that just that really says a lot about your character, who you are, you know, and you know, and for me, people say, Vic, you know, I know a lot of people around the world, I know a lot of so many people. I do my show, I don't charge nobody to come on my show, you
Mhm.
know. I know some people that do, but that's not me. I'm not here to gain from no one. I'm here to help people, expose them,
Mhm.
you know, to expose them. My gift comes from God. You know what I mean? I'm after
Mhm.
the
Exactly.
I'm after the yeah, man, I just had it in my head. The blessings.
Mhm.
You know, I'm after the blessings. That's all I want. You know,
Amen.
because at the end of the day, man, if you ain't blessed, man, then you got a problem. You know, so I'm after the blessing from God, from helping other people, try to put them in the right place, connect them with the right people, and you know,
Mhm.
and sometimes you know, I don't put people in positions, right, where they they don't got higher than me, and you know, have they looked back to say thank you or to try to help uplift me? No, but that's okay because you know what God has for me is bigger than that.
And he sees what you're doing. Most
Ex-
definitely. Most
exactly.
definitely.
And you know, and if my day comes, it comes, and if it don't, then it wasn't for me. But as long as I do his job, what he wants me to do is unite people, tell people about who God is, then my job to me is done. You know,
Amen.
and by the blessings of what I do, I've got I've gotten into projects. I haven't
Mhm.
auditioned to no project. They just be like, Vic, I got a part for you. I want you to play this part. Here's the part. Boom, you're in. You know,
Yeah.
I have an audition, you know what I mean, because of the those are the blessings, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm here to help every generation, man, especially you guys, you know, that are under me, because you know, in a couple more years, man, you guys are going to really have it rough with this
Mhm.
government. You know, the government's going
Man.
to put you in a position where you know you guys are really going to have it rough, man. I'm talking about really rough with this, you know, with this a bank with the banks trying to change the currency, you know,
Mhm.
where there's no money, everything's going to be through digital, where they
Man.
can control your money, control you, tell you when you eat, when to sleep. You know, this is really going to happen, and a lot of people are sleeping on what's
Mhm.
coming in 10 more years.
Look, Don, I tell you something. You're absolutely right. And that's where, you know, like me, an example, I'm not fully prepped, but I've been prepping for a long time. Because the things we talking about now, me alone sitting down, I've been thinking about this for years, brother. Like, you know, I went to DR. I just came back in January from Dominican Republic. I was gone since July 1st, 2021. So I was out there this whole time. I've been
Mm,
performing. Thank
mm,
God I met a lot of artists. You know, I got connected with some people out there. I
good,
can't say I got the fruits from it, but I did get the blessing of getting to know them and now having those connections.
right.
So, you know, at least now when I get back, you already know it's showtime. And
It's
I'm
yeah,
somebody, Don, who when I get on stage, I am not nervous. I am not shy. I like
yeah,
to interact with the crowd. I go to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and everybody be like, okay, because I
yeah,
like to go to the people. Like, and I don't
right.
like to just look in one direction. I look everywhere while I'm singing
Yeah,
and performing.
yeah. You got to work the stage. That's the
Yes,
artist. You got to work. You got to
yeah,
work the stage, man. The stage is that's your platform, you know.
yeah.
And that's the thing of an artist. You know, not every artist can work the platform, and
Man,
you know that's
but
one of the things I taught my kids when they perform live in New York and stuff. I said, "Papi, the platform is yours. That's why
yep.
I got. That's why I got that corner." And the other corner, you can't just work this
Mm-hmm.
corner. You got to work the whole corner. So that means you got to walk. You got to interact
Yep.
with the people, and you know, and he did it. And he's, you know, we got a couple videos out and stuff like that. But
That's good. That's good. I would like to see some of your son's
yeah,
content, man.
yeah,
Most
man,
definitely.
he's out there. Yeah,
That's
he put
good.
some
That's
videos
good.
out, you know. But
And I'll tell you something too. Terrell, he was the one who shot my first when I performed the first time. He
yeah.
shot my whole scene, the whole performance.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Terrell
Terrell,
got
he
the
was
magic.
gold
Terrell's the guy
at
behind the
all
scene, you know.
angles. Yeah. man.
Yeah.
Everybody was just like, wow, because they didn't expect it. You know, they don't usually see that over there. And it was just so beautiful, man. You know, he had to leave. He couldn't stay too long around that time. And since I had stayed 2 years more, you know, I was still performing and stuff, but it wasn't the same because, man, me and him as a team, like, but now that I'm back, thank God, now that's what we about to initiate. You know, I got the brand going. I got my outfits that I'm prepping up for the visuals. And right now, that's what I'm trying to lock in. I'm trying to lock in my English music and my visuals with my English music. Because at this moment on YouTube, I only got them both. You know, as far as like trap music and a couple of raps, I have them recorded. They're all recorded. But, you know, the system of recording and not dropping, and they stayed there. So they're in the vault.
Yeah.
But like we was mentioning earlier, I'm the type that I like you to test me. So I'll probably Tirrel know. I'll be like, hey Tirrel, throw a beat on. It don't matter.
Yeah. That's but that's that's not everybody can do that, and that's what makes you different from other artists. If you can freestyle, then you're an amazing artist. Because that's not easy to do. Especially when you got to go 2 minutes and keep putting words in your head to try to make them rhyme. It's not an easy thing to do. I do it and I get stuck, and I got stuck, and that's when I got it right.
That's me.
And then I freestyle some more, and I freestyle after where I left off, and then I'm all right. Let me. I got it right some more. So. But it's a great thing. I'm glad you guys are both together and you guys are working. I would like to see more of your films and stuff. Lobo already got you on my thing, so I'm gonna look up some of your music.
Appreciate it, brother.
And
it'll be inside my film as well, too. Like
and in the film. So that's dope. I want to see some more of your work, Tirrel, when it comes out. We'll definitely probably see each other one day on set because I'd be everywhere. I travel a lot, especially in the States and stuff, and I go to a lot of movie premieres and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'll definitely link up with you sometime. And I'll be with Johnny. Johnny's my paisan, and I usually we see each other a lot because I end up going to like Hollywood and he ends up over there. We bump heads. We see each other.
That's on the fly like everywhere from LA, from the West Coast.
Be busy.
Like everywhere.
Yeah. So but this year I'm after September, after I shoot this TV series, and I go to a couple of more movie premieres that I have to do. Then after that, I think I'm going to work on my project. This movie that I'm working on, I got like 35 pages, and so I got my friend Denise. She's going to help me put it into the script format, and then I think I'm going to start shooting it. I don't know if I want to shoot it here in Boston. Not sure yet. I might. I don't know, but maybe next year I'll start shooting my film.
That's good.
And and
Yo, any casting, anything? I'm here. I'm available.
No. Well, that's the whole purpose of us connecting. And thing depending on what characters I need and who I think might play a good character in this, then I reach out.
Hey, yo, real. One thing I ain't mentioned this whole interview. I used to act before I even got into the music. One time I went to this. They told me about them. I'm not gonna mention it, but it was John Robert Powers, something like that. They was doing something big back in the day, trying to do casting calls. And the case is, they did the commercial thing with the cereal. So all of the kids that went, nobody was dressed up. They were all going dressed up as anything. I'm the only one that had slacks on my suit and my tie. I had a bush out too, so I was drawing attention. So when they did the cereal commercials, the first thing they said, take them all out. Bring him back in here. Instantly. And I was so nervous because I told my mother, Ma, they are not going to select me. Man, as soon as I finished, they stopped everything. And they said, just bring him back in. Forget about any more calls.
Wow, that's good. You see?
I said, wow, man, I was only 9 years old, brother.
You see. I mean, it happens like that. But you know, I'm glad you guys are doing your thing and you guys are connected, and you know, you're moving forward to do bigger and better things. And you know, I always say that in this industry, you got to know what you're doing, but it's really who you know. You know, who you know can take you to the next level. And that's why I'm in the position that I am now, where I know celebrities, movie stars from all over the world, because I don't stay in one spot. I spread my wings to see how far I can go and how far I can reach. You know, I always say to people, don't get comfortable where you at, especially in this field, music and filming. You can't stay in one location if you want to grow. Only some people are lucky enough to stay and to be successful, but people like you and I that look like you and I, we really got to put in the work.
Most definitely.
You know, we definitely got to put in the work, and we got to be able to sacrifice certain things in our lives to be able to make it. You know, and sometimes you sacrifice and you don't make it, but as long as you're happy with what you're putting out, with what you're doing, then that's all that matters. You know, because at the end of the day, remember this: when you die, the only thing you're going to take is your memories. And if you got good memories, then that's what you're taking with you. Everything else, this clothes,
that was beautiful, brother.
This jewelry,
man.
this jewelry, everything you see, that's not going anywhere. The only thing you're taking is those great memories. So do what you love to do, you know. And if you got loved ones, man, tell them you love them every day. And spend the time with them, man, and create good memories, because that's all we're taking with us. Everything else doesn't matter, bro. So and time is short. So do it as soon as possible. Stay happy, stay focused, enjoy what you love to do, and don't let nobody tell you different. You know, only you got the vision. You got the vision. It's your dream. It's your dream and your vision. Only you can see what you want to do. Only you are the one that can create your dream. So make it happen.
Most definitely. Appreciate that, brother.
All right. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Love you, brothers, man.
Love you too,
Love you, brothers, man. Like I feel like I know you guys forever. You know, but I appreciate you guys, and I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight for the show. I appreciate you guys. YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Peace. All right, brother. Peace.
God bless.
Bless. Yeah, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in. That was Tirrel Veron and Lobo, artist. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next time. And you already know I'm gonna let y'all go with peace, love, respect. Till next time, I'm out of here. Peace.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.